So now today we are going to talk about the endocrine meridian. The different names I have given. In fact, the meridians to be known as so many meridians are existing. We all know closer to the 72 meridians are existing. I am audible in the Zoom? Please comment yes or no.
Yes, sir.
That's great. So more than me, you have the enthusiasm. That's awesome. So here also physical class is a great. I'm so blissful today. Good. So endocrine meridian or the triple warmer meridian or the sanjiao meridian or we called as a triple burner meridian, or there is another name called as a shao yang shao. Shao means hand, shao yang is the middle meridian of the body and also hand, and shao yang is the another meridian, is the lateral meridian in our body called as a gallbladder meridian. And these are the different names, because here I have mentioned this to be known as a EM points. This something is the innovative way to understand this meridian, also to be known as a EM meridian, right? EM is endocrine meridian, because that much greatest importance and qualities are there in this meridian. That's what I understand. That's the reason this is not the meridian of the spinal cord meridian only or the triple warmer meridian only, because whenever I wanted to talk about the each meridian that having the great significant role, of course, because the entire body system, the whole complex body system governing by the 14 meridians or the 72 meridians, but is not the super simple, but out of which we would like to recognize the points is 411 as per the WHO. So therefore only consideration about that points, and that means governing to the entire system of the body, that something is amazing. But here is, as I told you, monarch for all the internal organs to be known as a king of the other organs, to be known as a cardiac cardinal. That is the circulatory system, right? But according to the Korean philosophy says that it is the super powerful meridian or the metaphysical meridian or the infinity meridian, endless meridian, to be known as a Chu in meridian, that's known as a pericardial cardinal meridian. So whereas in here, that to be known as is the pair organ of the pericardium, to be known as is the triple warmer or the endocrine meridian. Look at about the pericardium, when I think Dr. Mirza Uwais has taken the place of the pericardium meridian. It is the super powerful computer in the world, because you have this memory, you have the data, endless GB, endless GABA bytes are existing in your brain. So that to be governing by the one metaphysical organ. Metaphysical is you can't see it. There are the 5 fingers are there. There is another finger to be known as the 6th finger, but you can't see it. That meridian is known as a pericardium meridian. The pair meridian to be known as a triple warmer or the spinal cord meridian. According to the Professor Park Jau, he says that this meridian to be known as a spinal cord meridian, pericardium meridian to be known as a brain meridian. So brain meridian, then the pericardium meridian, both are same. But as per the traditional TCM, this to be considered as this to be outer covering layer of the cardiac system, but indirectly that's supporting to the nervous system as well. You remember any neuro related disorder, that because every system, the cardiac system is essential to treat for the circulatory related disorders, whereas in it is required to treat for all the neurological disorders, can be treatable by activating the pericardium meridian. Pericardium related to the chronic diseases or the diseases, whereas in the triple warmer meridian to be known as a acute diseases or the subacute diseases can be treatable for all the neuro related disorders. The neurological, you understand, because the neuro, sir, this is endocrine meridian, you said. This is the what are the difference between these two? Endocrine meridian or the endocrine glands are slow secretions and slow functioning to be taken place in our body system, whereas in the neuro conditions or the nervous system is the very quick response. The quick response to be taken place by the nervous system, but we wanted to understand, because we know the Eastern medicine and then Western medicine. We try to correlate together. The Eastern medicine says this is as a nervous system, whereas in the modern medicine says this is something is connected to the metaphysical as well. Because these are the both try to integratedly we understand and keep the concept, that will be really amazing in order to implementation. So that's the reason pericardium, it is essential when we understand each and every gland, because we would like to know the endocrine and then exocrine. Endocrine glands are existing from the top to bottom of our body, so which having the numerous physiological aspects in our body system. When it secretes the hormones is nothing but is the natural chemical messengers, so which is essential for our body functions, right? When these are the glands are secreted by the endocrine glands, that's called as a duct glands, ductless glands. There is a tube glands and then tubeless glands. When there is a tube is there, so that through the tube it passes to the different parts. Where there is no tube, directly the glands are secreting to the blood stream directly. There are the two different concepts. That's called as you look at about the pineal gland, pituitary gland, adrenal gland, thyroid gland, right? Parathyroid gland, thymus gland, pancreas is the gland, and gonads, testes and ovaries. These are the glands, so governing by the master gland as well, known as a pituitary. So this is in fact is directly pouring the secretion of whatever chemical substances is required to the body system to regulate the function of the endocrine system, that to be regulating by this meridian as well, these glands as well. When we look at about the exocrine glands, so those glands are the ductless glands. That means it is the duct gland is the exocrine gland that passing through the tap. For example, you just take the tap is there, open it, directly that pours. When you place the pipe to the tap, that goes somewhere else, and wherever it is required is the target place that is nourishing to that particular system. So therefore that it stops. So you look at about the tears, you look at about the nasal septum is the mucosa, look at about the salivary glands, you look at about the chin is nothing but is the fluids. There is the thick fluids and then the thin fluids and syrup and then suspension. You look into that. Suspension is something is mixture, whereas the syrup is the very liquid form. Like that here also there are the tears. And this and all is very much essential, secreted by the which gland? Lacrimal glands. So these are the glands are known as the exocrine glands. Salivary glands to be known as the exocrine glands, right? The semen, whatever we call as the essence, that also the synovial fluid, that also some kind of the fluid that's called as the thick fluids. This is called as the exocrine. But the major physiology, as I told you, the acupuncture having the positive and the negative feedback mechanism as well. The acupuncture having the positive and negative feedback mechanism as well. Now you understand when we apply, there are the one particular point I'll tell you, Chu Chi. Chu Chi is the LI11 point. Chu Chi is the LI11 point. So that point is recommended to treat for the dysentery, diarrhea and constipation as well. So therefore, in the similar way, this exocrine endocrine gland also having the positive and then negative feedback mechanism. ना तो उनको बोले इनको फ़ोन करको कांटेक्ट करो, कहीं स्ट्रक हो गए क्या. Exocrine and endocrine, having the positive and then negative feedback mechanism. That indicating, that means it secretes the glands. It secretes the glands. At the same time, how much it is required that secretes, then it stops. Then it stops. So later, for example, you look at about the milk secretion is there. For the lactiferous ducts, it secretes the milk secretion. Until the child sucks, it flows easily, right? So when it stops, that also stops. That's not oozing out, that's not coming out. You look at about the delivery, during the normal delivery time, when the pregnant lady wanted to get the contraction, that to be known as a uterine contractions, that time there is a hormone releases, that hormone to be known as a oxytocin. That oxytocin releases until it gets the delivery of the baby. If it's over, then the oxytocin stops. Therefore, this endocrine gland also having the biofeedback mechanism, the positive and the negative feedback mechanism as well. That means positive means it releases as much is required. So for example, now adrenal gland is required, the cortisol is required, anything is required to our body, it releases. When it fulfills, then it stops and it reverses back in the form of the negative feedback mechanism. Acupuncture also likewise, it works in our body system, that is positively and negatively it works in our body system. That's what is we wanted to see about the endocrine glands, is again when we understand about the various points. So that time I'll try to give you some more information, each and every acupuncture point, how will going to release certain endocrine glands. But when I have not done the pericardium meridian, so that meridian I would like to give you some short information regarding that, because as per the Professor Park Jao says that, but each and every 5 shoe points are governing to all the endocrine glands. Look at about the chuza, chinishi, ta, ling, lao, kung, chung, chung. These are the 5 points. 5 points are governing to all the 5 endocrine glands. So in this way, there are the points known as a chung chung, that is pericardium 9. Pericardium 9 is the good point to treat for the thymus as well. When we look at about the lao kung, that is the pericardium 8, that also governing to one particular gland. Taling, that is the pericardium 7, governing to particular gland to be known as a pancreas. When you understand about the Qianqi, that is the pericardium 5, governing to the adrenal glands. When the pericardium 5 chuza, pericardium 3 is the chuza, that is regulating to the pituitary gland as well. The pericardium 8 also governing to the pituitary gland, but little here and there I told you. But however, the pericardium, according to him, long back I studied that, but he said that the 5 points are transporting and governing to all the endocrine glands as well. Now we look at about this meridian also, this pericardium, this is the triple warmer meridian also governing to the so many endocrine glands. That would be, in order to understand about the deep knowledge, I look into one by one. But before stepping into the acupuncture points, so now the sanjiao primary channel starts at the ulnar side of the ring finger and goes to the 4th and 5th finger. We all know that is a meridian of the superficial meridian. So superficial meridian is surfacing or regulating on the cutaneous level. There is a cutaneous meridian as well. But however, the superficial or the principal meridian or the primary meridian, or we called as the first meridian, which is existing on the epithelial level or the skin level or the derma level or the epidermis level, that meridian is superficial. When we understand about the surface level meridian, there only there are the junctions are there in between the one acupuncture point to another acupuncture point. There is something is connected to the fibrocystic nodule in between, where there is the hollow depressions are there on that particular situation. So there is the electrical conductivity to be taken place. But moreover, there are the few points which is existing on the deeper level of the chi, not the chi is existing on the surface level. When we look at about the putial points or the chingwell points called as a shaoshang or shaoshang, shangyang, chungchung, shao, quanchung, shaoza, chungchang. These are the points to be known as a jingwell points. If you understand these points, no deeper level, this very surface level energies are existing. When go to the where the more fleshes and muscles are there it goes to the deeper level of the chi. The source point, you look at the motor point of that particular muscle, you can see the triceps muscle, the bicep muscles, deltoid muscles, acupuncture points, not on the skin surface. The chi is existing to the deeper level, that is communicating, that entirely reaching to our the pertaining organ. But now you look at about the triple warmer meridian. It starts from the ring finger, then ascends to the upward direction. From here it ascends to the shoulder. From the shoulder it goes to encircles to the ear system, and finally it terminates the chi on the lateral end of the eyebrow. Right. So we will see that where exactly is located the divergent meridian. The divergent meridian, in fact, is the muscular meridian. That meridian is governing from that one particular region called as a chi ho, that is a stomach tuval, chup and chi ho. These are the area where called as the superior border of the middle of the clavicle. So middle of the clavicle, the stomach tuval is the very great point. There is a junction point, you understand. So many junction points are existing. How the sanjiao, swanglo, chungchung, the points are located on the body, or the junction points. In the similar way, this is the stomach tuval as the junction point for the fu viscera. So from there the energy starts. From there it comes to the diaphragm, the place where it is the bifurcates to the upper cavity and then middle cavity. Then the descends the downwards direction, reaching to the abdominal cavities. From the abdominal cavity again it goes to the downwards direction, communicating to the lower chio. This also meridian to be known as a sun chio. Sun means 3, chio. Oh, I have forgotten to take the 2 points. Shan shan, right? Ar means 2, shan means is the kidney. I think 3.5 hours I completed only 10 acupuncture points last week, I believe, right? So remaining, I think another 2 points are existing in the kidney meridian. In fact, it is out of my mind. When the time permits, it is your duty to make me to happen this. But before stepping into that, somebody arises this question, I could have completed another 2 points, but that totally there are the 17 points, but 17 acupuncture points are divided into 2 points. 2 E means 1, R means 2, R means ear in Chinese, R means 2, sun means is the 3. Now sun, C means is 4, Wu means 5. So now this is the point where I am. Sanjiao. Sun means is the 3 cavities are the 3 junctions. 3 cavities are the 3 junctions. So these are the junctions where precisely is located. So try to understand, this is something is the numerous concept to keep it in our mind. So triple means is the 3. Trinity Meridian also to be known as this meridian. Now you look at about the from the hairline to the diaphragm to be known as a upper geo. Then from the diaphragm to the navel is the middle geo. From the navel to the foot to be known as a lower geo. When we look at about the ideally where exactly is located, from the top of the head, you look at about the C1 to C7. C1 to, not C7, C1 to T7. Cervical 1 to thoracic 7 to be known as the upper geo. Thoracic 7 to the thoracic 10 to be known as the middle geo. And then the thoracic 10 to the coccyx to be known as a lower geo. Precisely, I have given the atlas of the triple warmer meridian. So in this way, this meridian also, the triple warmer meridian, the divergent meridian, reaches from the different destinations, which is communicating to the interior and exterior as well. So another meridian called as the sinews meridian. Sinews meridian is known as a musculo-tendinous meridian. The muscles, cartilages and tendons governing by using this tendinomuscular meridian. This is called as a sinews, right? So that starts as usual from the ring finger that binds on the ankle region. From the wrist region, from the wrist region it binds on the elbow region. From the elbow region it binds to the distal to the deltoid fossa, and then from the deltoid it communicates to the acromion of the shoulder. From the acromion of the shoulder it covers the entire spectrum of the neck region, encircles the cheeks region. From the cheeks it's finally communicating to the Susukung, that is the sanjiao 23. From the Susukung that is communicating to the benshen, that is gallbladder 13. This is the pathway of the sinews meridian, right? So there is the one particular point, I love this, that to be known as a benshen, that is 3 chun lateral to the anterior midline, 0.5 chun above the anterior hairline. Now that one particular point is the junction point, which is communicating all the 3 hands fu sinews meridian communicating point. That means the cross intestinal is the yang ming large intestine. Then the other meridian is that is a tai yang meridian, is the small intestine meridian. The other one is the triple warmer meridian. So 3 meridians are communicating the musculo-tendinosus point to be known as a pen, B-E-N, S-H-E-N, benshen. Shen means is kind of the heart and then spirit as well, but the head is spirit. So to vi, lo, sho, tong, tian, these are the great points on the scalp region are existing. So this is benshen, as of now you keep it in the mind, that is governing to all the fu viscera of the hand meridian of the sinews meridian.